Okay, so I wanted to go over some of the stuff I've been doing for the last couple of days. Mainly working with the global variables for the character and the animator. I've fixed the animation project problem where he was hovering and kneeling at the same time. That was actually to do with the ground check distance. I set it to 0.5 and that fixed the problem. Okay, let's see what else. So our player has 2 attacks at the moment. Walk around and run, and he has 2 attacks. But like I said, depending on what weapon the character has equipped, it should play different attacks. I'll get to that at some point, because that involves me having to sort out the equipment manager. The equipment manager requires me to sort out how to equip different weapons and the variables for each weapon. So each weapon will have a different attack strength, which should be added to the attack strength of the character, which is determined by the level of the character at the time. Okay, like I said, this is mostly done in Playmaker at the moment. So this is my level manager. Jesus Christ. Like I said, I've programmed in 4 levels at the moment. So every time he runs over one of these boxes, it will add 10 XP. Press play. The audio player is something else I've sorted out just there a minute ago. I've got 7 tracks in it as of yet. But that is to be added to and to be changed around. Like I said, I'd like to use local bands, but we'll see how that goes. Let me just drag this over. Something else I'm working on at the moment is the camera. I don't know what's going on with it at the moment, but it is acting weird and is orthographic opposed to perspective. So each time we go run over one of these boxes, this number down here goes up by 10, which is the XP level. When you get to 100, it should reset all the variables for the player. So I'll just show you the Playmaker under here. So at the moment we're in level 1, listening, add XP, level up. So at the moment when we run into a box, it plays this, which just adds 10 to the variable. So 80, 90, 100. Just to make sure I got it. Okay, so that when you hit 100, it does an int compare. It actually does an int compare every time you hit a box, but when you get to 100, it sends an event to level up. That sets the variables. It sets the defense variable for the player to 50, sets the health of the player to 200, and sets the base power, which is the attack power, to 50. And as you can see, it's in a listener state 2 now. You'll need to get to 300 for it to go up another level. As you can see here, there's an int compare when you get to 300. The same with each one of these levels, 900 and 2700. So each time you go up, it takes more time to level up again. The attack. Okay, so we've got 2 attacks at the moment. We've got mouse 1, which is just a quick swing, and we've got mouse 2, which is a double swing. Now, how I've set that up is, once again, in Playmaker, under our input, we're looking for get mouse button down. When we have mouse button down, it sends an event, mouse 1 and mouse 2. Mouse 1 sets the boolean value for mouse 1. Mouse 2 sets the boolean value for the same thing for mouse 2. In the animator, we've got 2 parameters linked to these 2 different animations. These are still placeholder animations at the moment. Yeah, I had to spend a lot of time on the Playmaker forums, which is impossible to navigate, looking for an animator proxy, which sends different commands to the animator through Playmaker. what else did I do? I set up music there, which is, let me just kill the music for a second so you can actually hear me. Music there. Yeah, this is a JavaScript script that I like using. It allows me to set up different tracks. Kill this. It allows me to set up different tracks. Also, if you look at the player, actually, if I hit square bracket, it cycles through the different tracks and displays it on the bottom here, which is quite a nice system. I like using that. Like I said, I need to finish fixing the camera orbit because at the moment it's not working right. That's pretty much what I've been doing for the last couple of days. The next thing to do is to set up the attacks. So when the player presses mouse 1 or mouse 2, it will activate a collision trigger on the weapon. That collision trigger will get the targeted hit and store that as a game object variable. When you have that stored, it can then subtract health from that game object variable. But it's all to do with the timing of the animations. So let's say we have an animation that's 3 seconds long. We want the trigger box to be active for 3 seconds. This is a problem I had with the prototype last year. Because the collisions were constantly active, if you just ran into someone, it would automatically kill them because it wasn't turning on and off those collision boxes. So that's something I need to look at next, the actual combat mechanic. But yeah, what else did I do? Al, I need to get you to send me that PSD file for the UI that you did. This one that I have here is just a placeholder for the moment. I have it set up with radial fill, but the problem is because each level the numbers are going to change for the health and the XP. Radial fills, so they fill, the red being health and the yellow being XP. Because at each level those numbers are different, what I'm going to have to do is for each level I'm going to have to set up a different state that normalizes the numbers for that level, so this works correctly. Yeah, that should do it, I think. Once again, if you have any input, let me know. I'm still tweaking this so the mechanics actually work right. This is the second rig that I did, opposed to the first one, the first one was glitchy. But the second one, you see just here on the shoulder, the arms it happens to as well, and the legs. We've got bits of skin popping out through the armor, which I need to fix. So I need to have a look at the rig again. Jesus, look at that elbow. Another problem I'm having with the rig, you see the hands, they're kind of bending weird. So I need to take another look at that. But when I'm doing that, I'll also do the leather armor and the cloth armor, now that I have the base skin done. Like if I go into the player, I can actually turn these off, which is what the plan was. So we can, whoops, not that one. I'm going to turn that one back on. Turn off the chest. So we have the base here. Eyes, face, helmet. Okay, yeah, I never got around to finishing the back of the head. Shoulders, legs. So technically we should just be able to skin on top of that and apply different armor sets. So he could have the legs, which would add 5 armor. We could have the metal, the plate armor legs, which would add 5, and then we could have leather chest piece, which would add maybe 3 to the stats of the defense of the player. You'd probably do an actual pair of underwear on, apart from just legs. See, now I painted the legs green because he was doing the same thing where the skin was popping out under the plate armor, which I need to take a look at, but that's a rigging and skinning issue. Yeah, I mean, it looks grand when he's standing still, but as soon as you start moving, especially back here under the shoulder armor, right here and here. Yeah, let me take a look at that orbit camera as well. Right here it pops out as well. Except this is all a skinning issue anyway, more than anything else. As always, if you've got any feedback, let me know. If you've got any input, let me know. Like I said, for the last couple of days I've just been focused on getting the mechanics working. But I'm a good chunk through it. Okay, I'll catch you later.